Welcome back. A Spanish charity group has released a video of children celebrating Christmas on its vessel as it made its way to a safe port in Spain. Over 300 migrants were rescued by open arms off the coast of Libya as it currently makes its way to the Spanish port after the vessel was refused entry by several European countries, including Malta and Italy. Proactivia Open Arms operates between Libya and southern Europe in a mission aimed at aiding migrants who have found themselves in trouble attempting to cross the sea from North Africa. Economic analysts say sub-Saharan Africa's recovery will progress slowly into next year, raising alarms over the rate at which some countries are taking on debt. There was also public outcry in several nations as their governments went hunting for additional revenue to meet development goals.
Great continent.
The process of integration.
The leaders of 44 African countries made history in March this year when they gathered in Rwanda's capital, Kigali, and endorsed the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, AfCFTA, a $3 trillion continental free trade zone that encompasses 1.2 billion people. Economists point to Africa's low level of intra-regional trade, which sits at just 15% of the total commerce, as one of the reasons for the continent's enduring poverty and lack of a strong manufacturing base.
If the African Continental Free Trade Area is to work, it's important that we see more manufacturing and agro-processing and processing generally in the continent. Otherwise, there's very little production to trade, with our neighboring countries.
Nigeria and South Africa, the two economies that normally push the continent into faster growth, are struggling to reclaim their potential, even though commodity prices have improved. Lower oil production in Nigeria offset higher oil prices, and in South Africa, weak household consumption growth was compounded by a contraction in agriculture. And although capital inflows to Africa have grown exponentially in recent years, but risks also exist. Because much of the increase has come from debt. The IMF reported this year that liability inflows ballooned from $3 billion in 2000 to $60 billion in 2017.
What we're concerned about is really the pace of increase rather than the level of debt on average. But what is worrisome is that in countries, particularly oil exporters, other natural commodity exporters, what we've seen is a pronounced increase in debt in the last couple of years. And there, of course, it reflects the big hit to their economies following the commodity price crash, the hit to revenue levels, the hit to their economies.
In addition to taking on unprecedented levels of debt, some African governments like Kenya, Zimbabwe and Somalia also hiked taxes in a bid, they all said, to fund a range of development goals. Analysts and charities urged governments to increase revenue instead by cracking down on graft and by taxing the richest more.
While African fashion inspired certain global trends in 2018 and isn't short of creativity and passion, the continent's industry still struggles to win the kind of support enjoyed by fashion players in other parts of the world. Let's take a look at trends that made waves in the year 2018.
Kicking off Africa's Year in Fashion was the South African Menswear Week in Cape Town, an event that has come to epitomize what is edgy and fashion-forward on the continent, and this year was no different. Menswear often pales in comparison to women's styles at fashion shows, but the category is enjoying faster-growing sales and consumer taste that are becoming more daring. But despite its growing popularity, many say that men's fashion has not been given enough recognition, especially when it comes to mentoring and promoting young designers.
I think that we really need to pay attention to young African fashion designers in terms of providing. In fact, a lot of the countries in Europe and in the US are taking a lot of ideas from African designers. And I think that the more we can create platforms for them to express their creativity, the better for them to create economic opportunities in the industry.
In West Africa, Nigeria hosted one of Africa's biggest fashion events, attracting over 45 designers from 14 countries around the world, as well as supermodel Naomi Campbell. Despite the event's prominence, many call for African designs to be more widely accepted and appreciated on the global fashion scene.
I don't think that we're more important because we're being discovered by the outside. We always were important. We've always worn these clothes. It is interesting and nice that we're getting noticed for our things, but it's nothing new to us. We've always dressed like this. We've got a lot of style. It's nothing new, and the world is lucky that they're getting to see what we've done all this time.
Over in the Democratic Republic of Congo, activists held a different kind of fashion show where disabled models took to the catwalk as a part of an initiative aimed at fighting for more inclusive representation. Those who participated in the show say they hope that the visibility that comes with an event like this will change perceptions. In East Africa, costume designer Scholar Namwai showcased her latest project, hoping to change the way people think about fashion in Kenya. Namwai creates intricate costumes for special occasions, theater performances, and most recently, film. The young designer has carved a niche for herself in Kenya's vibrant, upcoming film industry.
I was searching myself and trying to find out what I really liked or what I really wanted to do. And I was always into fashion in high school. I loved modeling, I loved creating designs from t-shirts and fabric at home. My mom was a seamstress, and every time after school we would go to where she was training as a dressmaker, and I would collect pieces of fabric in the market and make some clothes for my doll.
And in Ghana, fast-rising fashion designer Brie Wadua showed off why she is one of the country's most sought-after designers. Ghana has caught the international fashion spotlight owing to celebrity endorsements for some local designers and the number of Ghanaians in high-profile positions in the industry. But Wadua says the difficulty is not just about attracting international buyers, but also when trying to sell well domestically. Wadua says the difficulty is not just about attracting international buyers, but also when trying to sell well domestically. She says most Ghanaian boutiques prefer to buy from outside the country in places such as China, Dubai, and Western markets. Wadua still has big plans for her brand.
A lot of aspirations on taking my brand to a bigger global platform to reach more people, because we've gotten to the point when we've got so much good stuff here, I've got so much good stuff here, and as a Ghanaian designer, we should be pushing to make sure that you could walk into a store in New York, maybe a Walmart or any other store in New York or Paris, and be able to find something that's from Ghana.
With such diverse and talented designers hard at work across the continent, 2019 looks set to be a very good year for African fashion.
Well, that's how we wrap up the program today. Thanks for sharing your Christmas with us. I'm Teniola Shubowale.